I love the little moments when Marcelo Bielsa is like down on his little stool with the arms out wide and sort of screaming. Yeah. Is that kind of the get back moment?
Yeah, then like you hear him on the sideline, then like if I'm on an overlap and then like if we turn it over, then and I'm on the other side of the pitch, then I'll just hear Aylin, and I know I got to get back as quick as possible. But yeah, then like that, then like it's just one word, and then like that's all he's got to shout, and I know I've got to kick it back. But yeah, it's just the way he works, and it's fun. It is fun.
That's Luke Ayling, Leeds United defender, former Arsenal player. Let's see if it's much fun for Ireland in the Six Nations at the Aviva Stadium. Not sure it is, Sonia.
No, it's Ireland 3, France 15. Ireland have never lost their opening 2 matches in the Six Nations Championship, but that now becoming a real possibility. France with their second score of the afternoon through Damien Penaud. It was a lovely wide floated pass from the wonderful scrum half. Antoine Dupont really is the best player in the world right now, and Penaud went over in the corner. Jalabert missed the conversion.
Can do it now. He's with Andy.
Yeah, great prediction, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is sitting right in front of me now. Ole, I assume disappointed because you regard that, I presume, as a couple of points lost, really, would you?
Yeah, we need 3 points, of course, in games to move up the table or move closer to the leaders, and that's disappointing because we do have ambitions of improving on last season and challenging the team in front of us.
Difficult start because you conceded the early goal. Got back into it with a wonderful goal from Bruno, and then you started the second half with a really good tempo, didn't you?
Yeah, I think towards the end of first half we built momentum, built pressure on them. I think we saw the template on how to do it. We tried to do that better second half, but we couldn't. We didn't really create that moment of quality. We had enough pressure, enough of the ball, enough chances to put it in the box, but we weren't there, or the quality wasn't good enough.
What about the VAR decision on the penalty? What were your thoughts on that?
It's a foul. It's a clear penalty if he allows it to go on. But I think Harry is offside in the when Bruno hits the ball.
Well, we thought that as well, and yet they didn't seem to look at that on VAR. No, that's strange.
So someone must have been asleep. So, honestly, it's either offside or a penalty. So consistency is what we want in decision making, and unfortunately there has been too many times this season that you see 1 week it's a foul, next week it's not a foul, 1 week it's a penalty, the next week it's not a penalty. So it's we just have to move on.
Can I ask you about David De Gea? Because you've spoken about the goalkeepers this week.
Yeah.
Maybe a question mark, perhaps he could have come for the cross with the first goal, but there was a save in the second half that was just out of this world.
Yeah, brilliant by David when maybe it's a foul against Harry again, but he blocks the first one and he gets up and clears the second one. Fantastic. Regarding the first one, I thought maybe the same, but when you look at it, the ball dies, so I don't think it's for David to come for that one. That's on the goal. It's just a good cross which goes up and down and dies on him. So I don't think that's his.
You are still in the title race, aren't you?
Yeah, of course. We're second, aren't we? And so no one's going to give the title away in February. Still 14 games to go. We need to go on a good run and have some good results in the coming weeks, because we still go over to the other side of the city soon.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Very interesting. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer there with Andy Gillies. Of course, he said that he didn't see them as being in the title race last week. He's qualified that there, although that result means if Manchester City win their game in hand, they'll go 10 points clear at the top. Chelsea are going 5 points clear at the top in the Women's Super League. Fran Kirby's got 2 for them. Pernilla Harder, Sam Kerr and Beth England with the others. They lead Bristol City 5-0 away from home. 65 minutes gone. The teams are in the tunnel at the Emirates. Matt Upson, just reflecting on what Luke Ayling said there. You played with Steve Bold, didn't you?
Yes, I did. It did actually make me chuckle, Steve. I will. I can relate to that with Boldy completely. Very much that mentality. Put your foot in. Work rate and commitment is a massive factor of how he was as a player, and he certainly was that as a coach as well.
No moulded studs, no?
No, actually Arsene Wenger told me off for wearing moulds in my first game for Arsenal in a friendly. Looked at me and went, centre back never wears moulds, Matthew. Never, Matthew. Never.
Update score for you in the Six Nations. Ireland 10, France 15. Let's go over to your commentary team then at the Emirates. It's Arsenal Leeds. Matt Upson's alongside John Murray.
Thanks, Steve. The teams are out. They've walked out from the tunnel on what is a cold afternoon. Matthew Upson alongside me. I've been doing this a long time, Matt, and I've allowed myself to be suckered today because I watched the weather forecast. I've watched it all week, and they said on Sunday the temperatures are going to soar. And I was so cold yesterday at Leicester, and I thought, oh, today is going to be so much better. It's going to be 5 degrees. It's going to be 5 degrees. 5 degrees is still quite cold.
You haven't underclubbed it in the clothing, have you?
I have.
Yeah. It's a common mistake.
And where we sit here for the commentary position is right down low with the cement roof, the overhang above us. It's like a wind tunnel, isn't it? And when there's no one here, when we're behind closed doors, it absolutely whistles around.
I pictured it as being really nicely sheltered, John, so I thought the opposite, but you're right, when you get here the wind does like to whip around the outside of the stadium.
It does, but hopefully we'll get a football match to warm us this afternoon between, well, one of the most entertaining teams to watch in the Premier League this season, Leeds United, and Arsenal, with Mikel Arteta having decided today to start with Martin Odegaard, who's on loan from Real Madrid, so Smith Rowe's in there, Saka and Aubameyang. So an attacking lineup after Arsenal have lost their last couple of games. The players out there just going around one another, the Arsenal players in the red shirts, white sleeves, white shorts and red socks, the little pre-match hugs. Emile Smith Rowe just coming across to Saka, Bellerin trots across as well. A couple of late instructions for Bukayo Saka. And the Leeds United team today in a change kit, one of their change kits, the very dark green, the bottle green and black striped shirts with the white numbers, black shorts and white socks. Two captains are in the centre circle, and a little fist bump between Liam Cooper and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who's back in the team. He says in the programme today he gives a big thanks for all the messages he's received. His mother's been ill recently, hence the fact that he's been missing matches. And Aubameyang says, I've received so many messages from supporters, and of course I had huge support and love in the dressing room from the boys. It's meant a lot, and I'm just happy that I'm finally back playing. He says, now I want to repay all that love by helping my team on the pitch. It's very mid-table matchups in this game. Arsenal 11th, Leeds 10th, separated by just 1 point. But I don't know, I just have the feeling that it could entertain us.
I don't stand here and feel like I'm going to watch a mid-table average game. It definitely has that feel. You're right, John.
Yeah. So Arsenal are to our left. They'll be attacking the clock stand, and it is Leeds United who are going to kick off. Arsenal with Leno in goal. He and Luiz are back from suspension. Bellerin at right back. David Luiz and Gabriel as central defender. Cedric Suarez at left back. Xhaka and Ceballos in the middle. And Saka, Smith Rowe, Odegaard and Aubameyang. And the Leeds team, as the players take a knee before the start of the match, Meslier in goal, Shackleton, Ayling, Cooper and Alioski, Struijk, Dallas and Clegg, Rafinha, Harrison and Patrick Bamford. And off we go. Leeds United, get us underway. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service, live from the Emirates Stadium in North London, and Leeds playing the ball back towards the edge of the penalty area, where the captain, Cooper, strikes it downfield on his left foot, and then Ceballos is able to latch onto the ball centre field. Smith Rowe turns, gives the ball out towards the left-hand side, and then Arsenal just knock it around, give as many players a feel of it. Actually, Gabriel gets the ball and sets off, shrugs off a challenge, plays it through the middle to Aubameyang. Nice turn from him to Saka on the right-hand side. Saka up against Alioski into the penalty area, left-footed cross, took a deflection right across the edge of the area. Click got a touch to it, bounces down for Arsenal. A shot from the left-hand side, which is Cedric Suarez hitting that on his right foot, but that was blocked inside the area. Suarez now again with a chance to pull it back. Odegaard is in there, he lays it back, and then Smith Rowe gets right underneath it and shuffles the shot really, and it lands just a couple of yards away from the corner flag. So it's a goal kick to Leeds. But that start to the game, Matt Upson, is suggesting what we were saying before the match might come to fruition.
Yeah, that feeling that we both had prior to kick-off would be right from that start. What a frantic, really high-energy start to the game. Brilliant piece of passing from Arsenal, you know, creative, lots of running. Just looking at the shape, I think it is Smith Rowe just drifted out to that left-hand side. He's starting out on the left, and Odegaard is starting centrally behind Aubameyang.
Goal kick to Leeds, who are going to take it short. Just as they did that, Click made a sprint from inside his own half and then a weaving run across towards this side of the ground, just as a little bit of a decoy, but in fact they did take it short.
They're full of little things, Bielsa's teams like that, aren't they? Little funny little moves that really catch your eye, that are very different, but they're all done for a reason, aren't they?
They are. So Arsenal 0, Leeds United 0. Very early stages, but a promising start. As Matt Upson says, Odegaard, who's made a couple of substitute appearances, the still young Norwegian, but he is playing centrally, so the number 11 playing as a number 10, and Smith Rowe, who has really brought an energy, hasn't he, and a vitality to this Arsenal side, playing as the man in the middle, has moved out to the left-hand side as the ball is played back by Luke Ayling, who we heard from before the game, a former Arsenal youngster. He was here with, Jack Wilshere was coming through at the time when Luke Ayling was here. It was at Arsenal where he got his nickname Bill, that he still has, as the ball is played back to Meslier. Switches the ball onto his right foot, the Leeds United goalkeeper, and plays it forward towards Rafinha on the halfway line. He spins away, in comes the challenge by Ceballos, and then Ceballos, having won the ball, picks himself up, and Ceballos sets off towards the edge of the area, plays the ball to Aubameyang, who's in the full-back position just now, orange booted, still going Aubameyang to the edge of the area. Bellerin on his left foot in the D, lifted it high and extremely unconvincingly halfway up the lower tier of the clock stand. Yeah,
not really the man you want in this position, onto his left foot. Aubameyang gets his head up, he sees him. I don't think he knows who it is, he just sees the Arsenal shirt, rolls it back with a lovely pace so he can hit it first time. And yeah, Bellerin never looked comfortable, but this look of Arsenal in the front four, we're talking about interchange of position, it really is that. Aubameyang's pulling wide on the left, Saka's coming in and found himself in the middle of the box. So I think those front four, just to spice it up a little bit, have got a real, you know, freedom to roam around the front half of the pitch for Arsenal.
4 minutes played, very nearly. Arsenal 0, Leeds United 0. BBC Radio 5 Live, the World Service are with us as well. Another cold afternoon in the United Kingdom. Here's Bellerin playing the ball back towards the halfway line. Ceballos. So Odegaard, not the only on loan Real Madrid man in the Arsenal team. Ceballos, who's here on his second season, of course, on loan from Real Madrid. No Thomas Partey, that's another setback. Just haven't been able to keep him fit long enough.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? He's kind of in, then out, then in, then out. It must be really frustrating. There's nothing worse as a player when you sign for a club. I've been through this process when you're unavailable to play as soon as you sign, because you just want to justify, you know, the commitment from the club to have you there. To not to be able to get on the pitch is incredibly frustrating for him.
Matt Upson, former Arsenal and England central defender. Here's Ayling at the back, playing as the right-sided central defender, playing the ball forward. Xhaka is able to step in for Arsenal, and then Odegaard loses out centrally, and here's Click approaching the edge of the box, tried to stab the ball through towards Bamford, who's inside the area, gives it out to Harrison. Pass was just a little short from Bamford to Harrison, and Gabriel is able to see it out for a throw down the left-hand side. We do have a choice of listening at the moment for you, by the way, over on Sports Extra, the Six Nations match between Ireland and France, and Sonia McLaughlin can update us.
Yeah, where it's Ireland 13, France 50. A converted try by replacement hooker Ronan Kelleher, which was converted, and then a penalty from Ross Byrne has brought Ireland right back into this game. Just 2 points in it. Ireland scrapping to keep their Six Nations hopes alive. They've got 15 minutes to do it. Ireland 13, France 15.
Thanks, Sonia. And as I say, the commentary continues. 5 Live Sports Extra on your digital radio or via BBC Sounds if you happen to be on the move this afternoon, if you're going out for your daily exercise. Here's Bellerin, halfway inside his own half. Bellerin, off he goes, up the right flank, past where Mikel Arteta is standing. Arsenal have lost their last 2 matches not lost 3 in a row in the time that Mikel Arteta has been manager, over a year now. Ball on the left-hand side, but Cedric Suarez couldn't keep it in on the far side, and it's a throw-in to Leeds. So 0-0, 6 minutes played.
Certainly doesn't have the feel of a 0-0, does it? From the start. I know we're watching Leeds, and not many matches they play do, but
one's finished 0-0, and that was Arsenal at Elland Road.
It was, that's absolutely right. Yeah, with Pepe, the red card with Pepe,
that's
wasn't
right,
it?
yes.
Yeah, no. So, I can't imagine it staying this way, but it's such a bright start to the game. Both teams, free flowing, and Arsenal look to have released the shackles a little bit up front and look very good themselves.
Yes, they've released the shackles. Bielsa has released the Shackleton. He's on, the youngster, playing at right back. It's only his second Premier League start for the number 46, who is a Leeds lad, thrown for Arsenal, but it's allowed to bounce over the dead ball line for a goal kick to Leeds. Yeah, the amount of goals that Leeds have been involved in their Premier League games this season, as Matt said before the game, goals for 38 against 38. And that is, they've been involved in matches with more goals than any other club in the Premier League this season. You won't be surprised to hear 76 of them. As Ayling has the ball inside his own half, inside his own penalty area, just turns it back to Meslier, who passes it out here to Alioski, who, as ever, has got his socks pulled right up over his knees, the North Macedonia international. And now Cooper will play it back to his goalkeeper, and Leeds keeping possession deep inside their own territory. Yeah, I've seen a number of their games this season, Matt. The 4-3, I mean, it was right from the start, the 4-3 at Anfield in their first match back in the Premier League, as Meslier plays the ball downfield. I thought for a moment there David Luiz was going to miss that with Harrison behind him, but he was able to get the ball under control. David Luiz and Leno coming back, having served their one-match suspensions when they were both sent off in the defeat, the first of those 2 defeats. That one against Wolves, who've won today. If you haven't heard that news, Wolves 2-1 winners at Southampton. It finished West Brom 1, Manchester United 1 in our first 5 live commentary match this afternoon. Celtic 2-1 winners at St Johnstone. Barnsley won 2-0 at Brentford in the Championship. And there are a couple of matches underway at the moment. Oxford United 0, Wigan 0 in League 1, and Colchester 1, Mansfield 1 in League 2, both 3 o'clock kickoffs. Arsenal with the ball down the left, Ayling just leaning into Aubameyang, and that's been given as a free kick.
Just getting a little bit tight there, Luke Ayling. It was a nice piece of play from Arsenal. Aubameyang bent his run out to the right-hand side of the pitch, and as he curved it out there, Ayling followed him all the way and was stuck to him like glue, but just clipped his heels and has given away a free kick in a dangerous situation, right in line with the 18-yard box line. And Leeds have got to defend this. Looks like it could be an in-swinging one from the look of it, but Leeds pressing so high all over the pitch. If Arsenal can get a couple of passes off and just break that press, they could find themselves in trouble, Leeds.
Free kick then. Saka runs away. It's going to be Cedric Suarez from out on the left into the near post, looking for Aubameyang, but it was cleared away. I think it was Bamford who went with Aubameyang, and Leeds can clear it up to the halfway line. But Arsenal back in possession. I've taken a leaf out of your book. I've noticed that you've got your hood up, which is always a good move actually when it's breezy. Here's Saka down the left-hand side. It's been taken on. Oh, it's actually overrun by Cedric Suarez. That was a poor touch as he burst into the penalty area. And the options that he had in there were 4 Arsenal players in the box, but poor touch.
He's shouting at himself as he's running back. He knows how bad a touch that was. It was such a great situation. Saka just rolled him in. It's almost like he had too much time. He got his head up and didn't look where the ball was and just miscontrolled it and kicked it straight out for a goal kick.
His touch needed to be as sharp as that parting on the left side of his hair. Ball with Meslier at the back. Arsenal 0, Leeds United 0. 10 minutes on the clock, and we still have Everton against Fulham for you to come, which is a 7 o'clock kickoff tonight. Vicky Sparks and Clinton Morrison will be getting themselves to Goodison Park if they're not there already. What time is it now? 4:30? Well, they might be there now. Arsenal 0, Leeds 0. Throw in that Alioski is going to take, which he takes short to Click, who's able to jump forward and flick it down the line to the very impressive Jack Harrison. 3 goals in his last 4 appearances. He's 24 now. on loan, still on loan from Manchester City for a third season, but he's done well recently. Throw-in taken by Alioski, comes back to him, 10 yards inside the Arsenal half. That's chipped forward, and Klich has taken up a position. Harrison arrives on the scene as well. Saka has gone with him. Harrison's crossed to the near post, and Bamford with the header got it on target. No real power in it, and Leno, who was positioned at the near post, was able to move quickly to his right and catch it.
There's a nice instinctive move from Bamford. He really has improved this season with his movement in the box. He knows where the ball's coming. Gabriel's quite tight to him, but he gets across the face of him and just glances that ball. But as you mentioned, it's not enough pace on it goalwards, and Leno was banging the right spot, but a little warning sign for Arsenal from crosses. It's not a real strength of the centre-back partnership to defend crosses, and it wouldn't surprise me if Leeds start to put a few more in the box.
Well, that's for all of the majority of the possession that Arsenal have had, that's the first attempt on target by either side. Arsenal 0, Leeds United 0. Great work by Harrison though on the left.
Yeah, he's ideal, isn't he? Just with that left foot, he likes to get to the byline, just cut the ball back. But I think he's got a good understanding with Bamford, and Bamford's really improved in that area for me. I think his instinct in the box, where to be, is now, what, 27 years old, 26, 27, Bamford
27.
Yeah, so his instinct is in his prime in terms of understanding where he needs to be at the right time, and that really is reflected in his goal tally this season.
Yep, 12 goals. All of them Premier League goals this season for Patrick Bamford. 2 in his last 3, and 3 assists in those matches as well.
There's some good goals in there as well.
Very good goals. Xhaka now to Aubameyang into the box on the left-hand side. Step over, low shot. Oh, it's in! He's found a way past Meslier, who was beaten at his near post. A low shot, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang returns to the Arsenal side, the captain with the opening goal, and it's Arsenal 1, Leeds United 0.
Well, these are the moments of class that Arsenal have been missing this season, and this man is back to produce this type of goal. It really was a brilliant finish from Aubameyang on the left-hand side, his favourite side, coming inside the pitch onto his right foot. He faces up Ayling, little left foot step over, comes inside, and what he does so well, why he scores the goal, is that as he comes inside, instead of aiming it to the far post, which most goalkeepers think you're going to that far post, he cuts it into the near post. It's really clever from Aubameyang. I think he drags it through a defender's legs as well, or just in between the defenders, completely catches Meslier off guard as his body weight's going to the left. It's a brilliant finish from Aubameyang.
Yeah, Meslier did change direction, got down. Actually, you know, it went under his right arm.
Yeah.
He got a hand to it, and you can tell the body language. You can tell that the goalkeeper, you know, feels he should have saved it, and so he should.
He'll be frustrated, but it's so different. He gambled, didn't he? He almost felt he saw Aubameyang when he cuts inside on that right foot. He's so lethal at curling into that far post. That is the go-to for every goalkeeper, just to edge to the left-hand side to get ready to at full stretch to tip that one wide. And he just dragged it through the defender's legs, and you're right, he couldn't get down quick enough, and the ball just went under his arm. But really clever from Aubameyang just to notice that and try something different.
So there we are. Aubameyang, I mentioned his comments in the programme about returning to the team and wanting to contribute, and he's done that already. The opening goal coming in I think it was the 14th minute from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Only his 9th goal this season, but by no means the Aubameyang goal machine that we're used to seeing, whether it has been at Arsenal or whether at Borussia Dortmund before that. But you know, you could tell his face was wreathed in smiles. That was a big goal for him.
Big moment. It was a big moment, not just because of the goal, but I think the type of goal it was, John. It was really manufactured by him. You know, it was all him. He got the ball. He had lots to do. And I think he was very clever the way he saw that, and just thought the goalkeeper's going to expect that one to the far post, and almost pulled it with his right foot into the near post just to ask a different question, and he certainly got the answer.
Yeah, and that justifies the selection from Mikel Arteta as well, leaving Lacazette out today, who's not scored in his last 3 appearances, but to play Aubameyang, well, I say through the middle, he is drifting out towards the left-hand side, isn't he?
They're all over the front four, are really interchanging. They've got their set positions, but when Arsenal have got the ball, they really are switching very well
Odegaard, that's a nice touch from him to Ceballos. Ceballos back to Odegaard, that's all Real Madrid. Odegaard then in towards Smith Rowe on the edge of the area. That's an important challenge though on Smith Rowe to take it away, and actually Leeds break now. Arsenal leading by 1-0. And Stuart Dallas was challenged. Dallas dived in, but there was a foul on him first, and it's a free kick to Leeds in the centre circle. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, as the captain, just comes across and has a word with referee Stuart Atwell. Free kick Leedsville.
Yeah, it's a much better start from Arsenal out of possession as well. It was almost very Leeds-esque, the way they hunted the ball back there. Once they'd lost it, Leeds were on the break.
I was just going to say that, sir.
Yeah, 3 or 4 Arsenal players really rushed the ball and got around it and won it back, or Xhaka held up the play, which is something that's been lacking from Arsenal. That energy, they've certainly got it in this game at the moment.
Now Colchester 1, Mansfield 2 in the afternoon's game in League 2. Ireland 13, France 15 is the Six Nations latest. They're in the second half in Dublin, and the commentary continues on 5 Live Sports Extra. Another busy sporting weekend. It's quite a day of Premier League football yesterday, wasn't it, Matt? It was at Leicester for the remarkable recovery by Leicester City against the champions, and Jurgen Klopp conceding the title when he spoke to the media afterwards.
It's difficult to say anything other at the moment, isn't it? I mean, it's Manchester City looks so dominant and very much in control.
They do, and another good result for City in that Manchester United dropped points at West Brom. So City 53 points now, having played 23 games. Both Manchester United, who are back into second, and Leicester have played 24. They've both got 46 points. So that is a 7-point lead with a game in hand for the leaders. 1-0 to Arsenal here. Arsenal, who are just below Leeds in the Premier League table, still quite a distance off the Champions League places, which is what their ultimate goal would be. And I suppose you would have to say the same for Leeds, as Harrison gives it back to Dallas. Ball on the edge of the area. Nice click now with the shot, but he got underneath it and curled it high over the top of the crossbar, but it was laid back to him very nicely. Was that Rafinha on the edge of the area who just set it up for him?
Yeah, Rafinha made a lovely move into the middle of the pitch, held the ball up and then just jacked it with the sole of his foot, rolled it back. Click went on to it. It was actually a much better opportunity than where it ended up. I think a midfield player really has to be hitting the target from there. It had a nice little angle on it, so he could put some swerve and curl on the ball, and just leant back and hit it way too high.
He jacked it.
Jack, yeah. It's not a back heel, it's a roll with the top with your studs. It's like a back heel, but
it's a jack.
It used to be called jack.
Yeah, there we are.
That's what I remember it as anyway.
Yeah, so he jacked his body.
I think it's so you could say it on the pitch and not I don't know, it's almost like a code word, is it?
Yeah, jack, no, I like it.
If you know what I mean.
I like it. Here's Click. Might see a jack from Click as the ball bounces back towards the centre circle and now finds its way to Alioski on the left hand side. Here is Jack Harrison, who gives it back to Alioski behind him, and again Harrison, and then a touch forward from Dallas. Well, Alioski's gone down claiming that he was fouled by Saka, but Saka is away down the right hand side for Arsenal, still going, has a look. There was only Aubameyang in the middle, and while he had a look, that meant the Jack Harrison could come in with a challenge, and then Alioski's there as well, who puts in quite a heavy challenge on Saka, but took the ball. But this is good for the game.
Really good
for the neutral viewers.
No, it's great energy. Saka had his head up, like you said, looking for Aubameyang. There was only Aubameyang, and he thought, I don't want to put the ball in and waste it, tried to hold on to it, but Leeds very much got back at him, swarmed him, and Jack Harrison ended up winning the ball back.
Here's a ball, a high one down the left. Bellerin gets up and wins that against Harrison. So Arsenal have got it again. And now Bellerin racing forward with the ball at his feet, uses Saka, who is fouled by Alioski. And that's a free kick to Arsenal on the halfway line. Saka gets up, has a little look of exasperation in the direction of Stuart Atwell, but it is only a free kick. It is half-time, Oxford United 0, Wigan Athletic 0 in League One. And I've just been told that we're going to have an interesting piece of social media coming from Mo Salah in a minute. Stand by for action. So that's going to be interesting to hear what... I'm not sure.
But we don't know what that's about.
No, we don't. We'll find out in a minute. It's coming in.
Wow.
Matt, even as we speak.
Now there's a warning about social media, is there? You get a pre-warned.
Well, I think
somebody's going to release something.
I think that is what they describe as breaking, isn't it? It's actually, as we speak now, that is breaking.
Yeah.
It hasn't broken.
No.
It is breaking.
In the process of.
It is in the process of breaking. We're almost midway through the first half here. Arsenal 1, Leeds United 0. Ball over the top, down the right-hand side for Rafinha to chase, and Cedric Suarez is able to shepherd it behind, and it's now broken.
I'm excited.
It's now broken. Mohamed Salah.
You've built it up, John.
Well, I'm reading this for the first time as I read it out to you. I hope he doesn't swear in it. It's a tweet, and it says, Mohamed Salah, it's been a tough period for many reasons. We are champions, and we will fight like champions until the very end. We will not allow this season to be defined by the recent results we've had. That is my promise to all of you. There we are. There we are. So I would describe that as a statement of intent.
Yeah, I think it's a good statement, and it's a statement that I would expect of a player of his calibre and the belief that they have and the talent in that team. Quite rightly so.
Yeah, and I think it is a statement of Liverpool togetherness as well from their top scorer. And I was at that match yesterday, and when he scored, I thought Liverpool are going to win this.
Yeah. I mean, they've had an incredibly tough season, in fairness, haven't they? When you look at the situation, the adversity they've had to deal with in terms of injury, it's been pretty extensive, hasn't it, and almost unheard of. The amount of injuries in similar positions has been such a difficult thing to navigate.
And also I felt yesterday, Leeds with the ball centre field here, and it's out of play for a throw into Arsenal, that I was saying this actually on breakfast this morning, that was sport yesterday, in that a number of times last season Liverpool, as Saka is found by Alioski, that's another one, free kick to Arsenal here on the right hand side. A number of times last season VAR went Liverpool's way, and also as the ball's played forward by Ceballos to the edge of the area, but that is dealt with by Cooper. But goal scorer Aubameyang's after it. Cooper drives it away downfield, and then Louise manhandling Bamford, the two of them right tussling together. Comes out for Leeds, no foul in there, says Stuart Atwell. Here's Dallas in the centre circle. Dallas on his right foot just knocks it forward, and then Rafinha plays it across to Strauch, who knocks it back towards the halfway line. Yeah, for Alisson of all people to make another mistake like that, as the ball is played forward to the edge of the area, Bamford chests it down up against David Luiz, then lifts it forward, but Gabriel is able to chest it back to goalkeeper Leno. It's a bad run for Liverpool, and then that happens.
Yeah, twice, 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. Colchester have equalised. Frank Nouble has scored. Colchester 2, Mansfield 2. Arsenal 1, Leeds United 0 here at the Emirates. And Sonia McLaughlin can give us another update on Ireland-France.
It's full time. It's finished. Ireland 13, France 15. France favourites for the title, far from perfect, but they go 2 from 2 to top the table. A try from Charles Olivon, the highlight. Ireland fought back, but they lose their opening 2 games in the Six Nations for the very first time, heaping pressure on Andy Farrell. Ireland 13, France 15.
Thank you, Sonia. More on that coming up, and they'll be wrapping things up on Sports Extra. Another exciting Six Nations match after the thrilling Wales-Scotland game yesterday, tea time. Here is Rafinha on the right-hand side, receives the ball inside the box on his left foot, lays it right across the penalty area to Harrison, onto his left foot, shoots straight at Leno. Did well there, Harrison opened his body, took the ball onto his left foot, but Leno had been able to move across his 6-yard box, and the shot was straight at him.
Rafinha as well, I mean, smooth as a Rolls Royce at the moment, doesn't he? The way he takes that ball in his stride, Rafinha on the half volley, looks lovely balance and poise, rolls it across the box to Harrison, gets his shot off, but it's never going to really trouble Leno. It was very straight at him at the near post, but I mean, you don't see any change in Leeds since the goal, do you? You never see a head go down, you never see the tempo drop. It's one of the biggest compliments I could give them. They could go 2-0 down here and they'd still play the same, and I think that's a real credit to them and to their manager.
Have you seen much of them live this season?
No, I think 2 games I think I've seen live. I saw them at Crystal Palace earlier on in the year, and they got beat, but played exactly the same, and were at it and could have won the game. You know, had the chances, but got beat by Crystal Palace that day at Selhurst.
Yeah, I've been lucky. I've seen quite a number of their matches. The game against Leicester a couple of weeks ago on a Sunday afternoon. Yeah. You know, that was as exciting a match as I've seen this season.
Game,
it was. Saka. Now Odegaard plays the ball through, but got too much on that, and it is through to Meslier, who's been beaten once. Arsenal leading through that Aubameyang goal in the 14th minute. Leeds, who've won 3 of their last 4 matches, which is why they're up in the top half of the Premier League table. Meslier, all in fluorescent orange, clears the ball towards Harrison, who couldn't keep it in, actually, with his head. So to throw into Arsenal 5 or 6 yards inside the Leeds half. But yeah, I mean, some of the games that they've been in, as I mentioned, the 4-3 to start off with against Liverpool, had a 4-3 against Fulham. They conceded 4 at home against Leicester, conceded 4 away against Crystal Palace.
That's the game.
That match you were watching.
Yeah.
We had the 6-2 at Manchester United, which was an amazing game. I mentioned the 3-1 at Leicester, scored 5 against Newcastle, scored 5 away against West Brom. What a season to return to the Premier League.
But I mean, I don't think there's a bigger example in the team than Meslier as to how Bielsa feels about his players. It's like, you know, to go into the Premier League season in their situation with how they play with such an inexperienced goalkeeper and get away with it and do it and cope and do okay. I think it's great.
David Luiz driving run into the penalty area, gets it back and pulls it back to Aubameyang, whose shot is superbly deflected over the top of the crossbar by Ayling. But that is thrilling, David Luiz, that we saw there, carrying the ball deep into Leeds territory and ending up cutting the ball back from the dead ball line for Aubameyang.
Well, you normally see him hit the raking passes. There's a little 1-2, I think, with Saka, cuts it back, and that is a goal-saving challenge from Luke Ayling. It's a brilliant tackle, throws himself in the way of the ball. Aubameyang just about to sweep the ball into the corner. I don't think Meslier would have got there, and the ball spoons up over the crossbar. It's a super block from Ayling.
Still 1-0 to Arsenal then. Could easily have been 2-0 there. First corner of the match from the left-hand side. It is taken in by Saka. A stretch with the left foot by Strauch, who was able to clear it away, and Arsenal take up possession again inside their own half. No Calvin Phillips for Leeds today, if you weren't listening. Went off with a calf injury on Monday night when Leeds won against Crystal Palace. You might have been listening to that match with Ian Dennis and Chris Sutton on Monday. So no Phillips today. The last 3 matches Leeds have played without Calvin Phillips, they've lost them all. And indeed the only game that they've won without Phillips was the match at Villa Park when Patrick Bamford scored the hat-trick earlier in the season. Here's Gabriel at the back for Arsenal. Passes it forward towards Ceballos, and then Ceballos does well to hold it up and uses Granit Xhaka, and then Aubameyang gives it away. So Leeds have got the ball back. But go backwards first of all, actually go all the way back to Meslier, the goalkeeper. Aubameyang trying to close down the young goalkeeper and unsettle him, and he did unsettle him because Meslier could only chip it out over on the far side.
He's had a couple of spells in this game where he's really took his time on the ball because there hasn't been any pressure, and Arsenal have allowed him just to have his touch and assess the situation. But for once Aubameyang thought, no, I'm going to run and I'm going to press, and it was a great decision. It just caught Meslier off guard a little bit.
That's Matt Upson with us on 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. And Aubameyang, that looks like a man on a mission.
He does. He's started the game well, hasn't he? I think he's looking, his body language and his facial expression. You mentioned on the goal, once he scored, he had a beaming smile across his face, and I think that's the one thing that has been missing a little bit from him this season, and it's good to see it back.
1-0 to Arsenal. These two clubs with great history, of course. Leeds United coming to Arsenal for a league match today for the first time since the spring of 2004. Remember those days, Matt?
Wow.
That was when Thierry Henry scored 4 goals in a 5-0 win.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that Leeds team and the previous seasons of that with Mark Viduka, who was always a very difficult player to play against.
Yeah, he was strong, wasn't he?
His hold-up play, you couldn't see the ball. Literally, his back and his body would get it in the way, and he'd try and grab hold of you and roll you and tussle you. get you into the position that he wants you to be in.
It has finished Colchester United 2, Mansfield 2 in League 2. It is still Oxford United 0, Wigan 0, and in the Women's Super League, Bristol City 0, Chelsea 5. So the leaders, Emma Hayes Chelsea, winning 5-0 at Bristol City today. 1-0 to Arsenal here. Six Nations match is over. A narrow win for France in Dublin against Ireland by 15 points to 13. We'll have more on that for you at half-time in this game. In the Premiership earlier, it finished Worcester 13, Wasps 17. Here's David Luiz, turns a pass out towards the far side, but that's in between Aubameyang and Rafinha, and just bounces out of play for a throw-in that Shackleton will run across to take. Leeds were here, of course. They've been here for a number of cup matches over the years since they last came to Arsenal for a league match. And actually, if you remember, it was the game here in the FA Cup last season when Leeds acquitted themselves superbly well. But I think made a lot of people think, you know, Leeds could be a hit in the Premier League in the way that they have been.
Definitely, they played with that high energy, didn't they? And could have possibly won the game. In the first half, they ran out of steam a little bit with the way they played, but that's been the one thing that's impressed me so far with Leeds, with the way they play, the fitness levels and how they keep them all fit and available to play like that week in, week out is a really impressive job.
Yep. It's Reece Nelson who scored the only goal in that cup tie last season. Another icy blast of wind blows around us here at the Emirates Stadium. Grey afternoon it is, but dry, and plenty of roadworks as well, I noticed in London.
Taking advantage of the quiet times to
I think
get some roadworks done, but
they must be doing.
It's not great, is it?
On the Holloway Road, did you run into them?
No, I've a couple of others further out. I think everywhere's got roadworks at the moment.
Yeah. However, you know, we're very thankful to be out and about. That's the that it's we should say that. Here's Saka, and then Odegaard plays it infield towards Saka. This is nice from Arsenal. Saka up towards the edge of the penalty area, still going, and the challenge comes in on him from Cooper, and referee Atwell says, what does he say?
Penalty.
It is a penalty. He has given a penalty for the challenge on Bukayo Saka from Liam Cooper. Great run from Saka into the penalty. I mean, energy, and Cooper came across.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
I'm not sure about that. If their review, clumsy. That looks worse from that angle. I mean, when you look at it from this angle that we're looking at now, which is like head on from Saka as he's running down at the camera, there's not that much contact in terms with the legs. It's almost like an upper body lean from Cooper as Saka's got the momentum and the pace to get past him, and he just leans across his path, doesn't he, and makes a bit of contact, but it's clumsy. It's clumsy. You have to say that Saka had the momentum to get past him, and Cooper just tried to block him off with his body.
Stuart Atwell's waiting. Well, the video assistant referee, who is Andre Mariner at Stockley Park, has given the instruction to Stuart Atwell, the on-field referee. We've seen the rectangle in the air from him, that he has to come across and have a look at this, and usually that means that he's suggesting that he might want to change his mind.
Well, it is one of those, though, John. This is one of those decisions that's still subjective, no matter how many times you look at it at different angles on slow motion. It's up to the individual to decide. So it should be the referee that calls this one.
But comes back to the question, the VAR question. Is that a clear and obvious error? So the referee has made the decision there on the field that challenge, where Cooper leans into Saka, Saka goes down very easily. We should say that he does throw himself down. There is some contact there between them. Here we are. Stuart Atwell turns away and says no, it's not a penalty. So it has been decided that was a clear and obvious error by the referee to award a penalty to Arsenal. VAR has intervened, and it is overruled. It is not a penalty. Arsenal continue to lead by 1-0, and Leeds have the ball.
I can understand it. You can when you see it slow motion. I think Saka, like you said, he goes early. He almost anticipates the contact and is already going. And I think there is some contact with the upper body. But it goes back to the question that just because there is contact, it doesn't mean it's a penalty. There has to be enough sufficient contact in order to cause the player to go down. And think the referee's right to have a look at it and come to that conclusion.
Leeds coming forward, Click on the right-hand side, crosses, but it's blocked. He was cutting it back after it was played through to him, and he cut it back into a couple of Arsenal players, and it bounced behind for a Leeds corner. However, is that the right decision not to give a penalty for that? I think it is.
I agree. There you go.
Good.
Sorted. That's the quickest VAR debate we've had ever.
Corner for Leeds, over on the right-hand side. Left-footed in-swinger, which is headed up and away by Emil Smith-Rowe. Leeds get it back. Rafinha, the corner taker. Rafinha is then beaten by Odegaard, and Arsenal clear away from the back. So Arsenal continue to lead by 1-0. The opening goal by Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang that beat Meslier down to his right-hand side. A low shot through the legs of at least one defender. And Arsenal thought they had the chance to take a 2-0 lead there, but VAR snatched it away. It's Saka, he went, I mean, we both, when we saw the replay there, we both did feel that he made more of that than he should have done, Saka.
First instinct was, not sure at all. And I think when you see it a few times, it's upper body contact. Cooper is fortunate because I think he'd got done. I think the momentum and Saka was past him, but he just leant across his path and there was minimal contact, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Not enough to knock someone to the floor.
As Arsenal win a free kick halfway inside their own half, Odegaard is the man who was fouled, picks himself up, around about 5'10", Odegaard, the young Norwegian. Although he is, as I say, 22 years old now. It's 2015 when he was signed by Real Madrid with quite a fanfare from the Norwegian club Strømsgodset. And they spent several million euros on him, but hasn't really been able to force his way into the picture yet at Real Madrid. So he's been on a number of loans, Odegaard, in the time that he's been there. Went to Heerenveen in the Netherlands, went to Vitesse as well, Arnhem, Real Sociedad last season where he scored 7 goals. And now he's here, having made a couple of substitute appearances in the last 2 or 3 matches. He gets his chance to start, and not seen too much of him yet in the match.
No, we've not mentioned his name that much, and I think not mentioned Smith-Rowe that much either, and I'm not sure how comfortable he is out on that left-hand side in terms of the movements he makes. I think he's one of those that loves to run off a centre-forward, and when he comes from the centre of the pitch running beyond, or he likes to follow his pass as well, Smith-Rowe.
Little delay there. Bellerin waiting to take the throw until David Luiz had tied his bootlaces, which was very good of referee Atwell to allow them to do that. As Cooper plays the ball back to Meslier, who is caught in possession by Saka, and he's fouled Saka, and it is a penalty this time. And he was caught in possession, the Leeds goalkeeper. Saka was bearing down on him, and he got a poor touch, and then in an attempt to try and get the ball, caught Saka. Saka went down. Penalty Arsenal.
Dear me. Meslier walks off, nodding his head, and rightly so. He's had a warning. We've discussed this already, the time he's taken on the ball. I've got no idea why he doesn't just clear that. Saka blocks his path. He should just hit it with his left foot. Saka has a great line in which he goes and pressurises the ball, in fairness to him. He blocks the pass out to the left back for Meslier. He's only got that in his mind, and really he should just put his foot through it and clear the ball. He tries to shift it onto his right hand side, and it's just game over at that point. He makes a real mess of it. Saka gets his foot, and it's such a clumsy foul. It's a clear penalty, and it's really poor play from the goalkeeper. It's put his team in a bad position.
Yeah, careless Meslier, careless Leeds. This is the 7th penalty they've conceded in the Premier League this season, and it's Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang who's already beaten Meslier once this afternoon. He was thinking about taking a penalty just a few minutes ago. That was overruled by VAR. Now it is definitely a spot kick and a chance for Aubameyang to score his second and Arsenal's second against Leeds United. From the spot, right-footed, sends Meslier the wrong way. The ball's in the back of the net. Aubameyang scored 2, and Arsenal lead in the pouring rain now by 2-0 against Leeds United.
Or from how Aubameyang has started this game, doesn't surprise me to see him just dispatch that penalty with all the confidence that you'd expect from a a striker of his calibre. Really was a comfortable penalty, big smile on his face, but Meslier looks to the floor. He knows what a blunder he's made and what this means for his team. It's a big uphill battle for Leeds now. Aubameyang smashes it to his left-hand side, the goalkeeper's right, as Meslier dives to the left. Very calm, very confident. 2-0 Arsenal.
Poor afternoon for Meslier. He will feel that he should have stopped the opening goal from Aubameyang, and then conceding the penalty like that. And as Matt Upson says, absolutely rightly, you know, he'd had a warning. He'd already been caught in possession once, the young goalkeeper, and there he allowed himself to be in a similar position again.
It's almost like Arsenal gave him a bit of time early on, didn't they? They didn't really press him in that way, and he was very slow in choosing where he wanted to distribute the ball. And then once Saka, it was Aubameyang originally who forced a mistake, and then that should have been right. Okay, little warning shot, I've got to be on the game here, and if I need to put my foot through it, then so be it. You can't play out all the time. And he just got it horribly wrong and has made a real mess of it.
And credit to Arsenal and probably the analysis people and the work that they've done, because that is clearly something that they spotted, and they've identified it and they've taken advantage of it.
I mean, it'd be interesting to see whether the tactic was to let him have it early and let him feel comfortable. You know, that's an interesting ploy, isn't it, to let the goalkeeper feel he's got time and then hit him with a couple of sharp presses later on.
Saka now fouls Alioski. That's been a running battle. Is that 2 each, or is that 3-2? Saka on Alioski.
It's interesting though, isn't it?
One of those two, possibly both of them, will get booked.
I think it was Harrison, one of the tackles that earlier on, so it might be 2-2 between the two of them.
Yeah. Half-time approaching. Arsenal leading Leeds by 2-0. If my stopwatch is working properly, the goals in the 14th and the 41st minutes of this game, and Arsenal now in a strong position. George in front. Our intrepid producer stroke interviewer nods his head, so that is right, the 14th and the 41st. The way things are, it'll be a very happy Mikel Arteta, who will be talking later after the 2 defeats to come into this game, but they are unbeaten in their last 5 home matches. And the thing about Arsenal is, and I have to say, Matt, this did surprise me a little, the fact that Arsenal have the second best defensive record in the Premier League this season. 23 Premier League goals conceded, only Manchester City better.
Yeah, they've had quite a lot of 1-0 matches, haven't they?
1-0
which not to be cliche, but surprisingly there's 1-0 to the Arsenal, but a few of them have been 1-0 against the Arsenal as well. So you're right, if they're losing, they're not conceding, or they're not losing by many.
However, David Luiz has played. That's very that is very unkind. And here he is chesting the ball down, Saka. I mean, the point is, it's David Luiz in a back 4, which has been much discussed. Here's Ceballos. Saka, who is getting his shirt pulled by Alioski. Saka still going across the penalty area, still going now into the D, still going onto his right foot, then back onto his left, still going. Gives it to Aubameyang on the left. Aubameyang cross, headed down by Bellerin. He might have gone for goal himself. Smith Rowe, then back to Ceballos. Oh, lovely little pass through to Bellerin. Shoots from the angle and scores. It's a 3rd goal for Arsenal. Goodness me, how intricately did they work that? Eventually the shot came. It was from Bellerin, and I'm afraid Mellier's been beaten very easily again at his near post. 3-0 Arsenal, and a poor afternoon for the Leeds goalkeeper.
Well, it's a hat-trick of mistakes from Meslier. Awful goalkeeping on the near post. You cannot get beat on that near post from that angle, but what a funny passage of play. Really lovely, intricate run from Saka. He chops, he feints to shoot, he then goes again. He puts Cooper on his backside, puts it wide to Aubameyang, who flicks one to the back post. There's a lovely little nod back from Bellerin. The ball then gets set to Ceballos, who pulls out this pass. I think he nutmegs Click on the edge of the box. It's almost like a disguised pass where he nutmegged the player. It was really clever from Ceballos, and Bellerin just smashes it from the corner of the 6-yard box with his right foot. It sounds really close, which it was, but the angle was tight, and Meslier should have just blocked the ball and put it wide, but crept straight inside the near post.
Well, the highlight there, amongst a number of highlights in the build-up to that goal, was the little pass Ceballos through the legs of Click, and for Bellerin, who actually was in a great position earlier in that little move when he was 6 yards out and he headed it back to the edge of the area. However, Arsenal 3, Leeds United 0. Excellent first half for Arsenal and for Mikel Arteta, and the direct opposite for Leeds United's 20-year-old goalkeeper, who, with Leeds winning a corner over at the other end, the North Bank stand, Meslier standing and has a little moment there to think about what's happened, which he might not necessarily want. Rain pouring down now. This is cold rain that is falling on the Emirates Stadium as Leeds take the corner. It's headed away, comes out to Dallas to Click, who passes the ball down the left-hand side to Rafinha. We're in added time at the end of the first half. Leeds still putting pressure on. Click takes the ball, knocks it square. Dallas is there again. Dallas had a look up, but then plays a low ball towards the edge of the box. Bamford towards the right-hand side. Shackleton plays it across, then back it goes more centrally to Ayling. Taken up by Harrison, left-footed cross from him, deep to the back post. That's cleared away and it bounces to the edge of the area where Ceballos is able to get it away. Almost had 2 minutes of added time. Did you see how many you were added on? Was it 2 or 3? 2 it was. So time almost up at the end of the first half. We'll have more on France's narrow win against Ireland in the Six Nations at half-time, but Leeds continuing to attack. That looked like a handball. It was by Dallas. It is, though, the half-time whistle, and Marcelo Bielsa turns to his left, staring at the ground as he walks away, and the tunnel is extended out. Mikel Arteta walking behind him. Mikel Arteta with a spring in his step, and well he might, with Arsenal leading by 3-0. Matt Upson.
Yeah, for sure. Mikel Arteta be going in very happy at half-time. I think Arsenal looked very different, a different entity going forwards. Aubameyang at times dropping really deep to get involved with the play. But the interchange of Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Saka's been very good on this right-hand side, causing lots of problems. And, you know, the scoreline, you'd have to say, probably does reflect how clinical and how many good opportunities Arsenal have created.
So half-time here, 2 goals for Aubameyang, the second a penalty, so Aubameyang hits double figures for the season. That's 10 goals for Arsenal, and Hector Bellerin scoring for the first time this season. Half-time, it's all Arsenal, 3-0. something else that never changes, his body language. And I'm actually just watching him now. We're to the right of the halfway line, and that's where the Leeds dugout is in front of us. So he's come walking out. He always takes very small steps, Marcelo Bielsa, and he's walked out there staring at the ground, and he's walked to the edge of the coaching area. He's walked back towards the seats. He's walked across the front of the seats. He's walked to the front of the coaching area.
He's always got that lean as well, John, hasn't he? Like the head forward lean. Yeah.
And now he's in discussions. And the players are out there on the field, so no change. Yes, there is a change at half-time, actually. And Klich is being withdrawn. Another important player in the Leeds setup, as is Jack Harrison, who's also been withdrawn. So double substitution, Harrison and Klich, and Costa, and is that Tyler Roberts who's come on?
It looks like Roberts on the far. Rafinha's gone out to the left-hand
side. Yeah, it is Roberts.
Helder Costa on the right,
and Tyler Roberts has taken up a central position.
Yeah, that's right, in the middle.
So, it's a double substitution, Klich and Harrison. As I mentioned, two important players for Leeds United. Is that Bielsa saying, right, we're 3-0 down, I'm going to keep those guys for another day?
Or it's Bielsa saying, I'm not satisfied with your performance, nobody's untouchable in this team, you're coming off at half-time, you're going to get dragged, and somebody else is going to have a go. And either or, it's a significant step from Bielsa, but you really do feel like he had to do something, didn't he? Like we were sitting in this match, and with Leeds you never normally say never, but the way the game felt, it's just going into the break, is that they were never going to claw back 3 goals, so perhaps just freshening it up and seeing what might happen. He feels they could get back in.
So Arsenal 3, Leeds United 0. Second half underway here at the Emirates Stadium in the pouring rain now, this winter rain. Here is Costa, one of the newly arrived substitutes. Left-footed cross from him. That's headed up by Gabriel, but it's caught quite comfortably by Leno. And Arsenal have the ball inside their own penalty area. So Arsenal are, as they started the match, with Leno in goal. At the back, Bellerin, Gabriel, Luiz and Suarez, with Ceballos and Xhaka as the two central midfielders. Saka, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, as Saka hits the shot from the edge of the area that is blocked by Leeds, and Costa has given it away to Smith Rowe, and Smith Rowe's in the box now, and he curls it right across the face of goal, and it's headed in for a hat-trick by Aubameyang. 3 goals for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and it's now 4-0 against Leeds United, and Leeds so careless again, losing the ball on the edge of their own box, that Smith Rowe found the head of Aubameyang, and Arsenal now clearing away from Leeds United.
Well, if Aubameyang ever wanted to make a statement that he was back, this hat-trick will do it. It really will. It's brilliant play from Emile Smith Rowe, the cross. Sloppy from Leeds initially. Helder Costa gets caught on the ball, but once he gets it, Smith Rowe, he drives at Cooper in the box and he flicks a lovely cross. Can't really see whether it's with the outside of his right boot, but how he gets it across from that angle, he just flicks it with the inside, and Aubameyang's peeled it off to a lovely position at the far post. It's a simple header, almost a tap-in at the back post from 4 or 5 yards, but it's all about Smith Rowe latching onto the mistake from Helder Costa, and a hat-trick. He gets a big clap and from his teammate in the stand of Lacazette, big friends, and I'm sure he'll be happy for him to get that hat-trick today.
So Arsenal 4-0 up now against Leeds United, and if there wasn't a way back when it was 3-0, there certainly isn't now. This is going to be Arsenal's day, and a great day for Aubameyang, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who's gone from 8 to 11 goals now this season for Arsenal, and it's been a difficult season for Arsenal, difficult season for Aubameyang, but it feels almost like the shackles have been released.
Yeah, it felt like that before he scored. He almost started the game in that manner, didn't he? I know the goals will help.
Leeds coming forward though, and here's a shot from Rafinha that Leno had to drop to his left to push away. He got a good sight on it from Rafinha from just outside the box, and so not a comfortable save, but it's a good height for him. Yeah. He leapt and pushed it up and wide.
Yeah, it's a nice strike from Rafinha, a player that Leeds haven't got into the game anywhere near enough for how well he's playing. I can think of one instance in the first half where Rafinha got at Cedric, who I think he's definitely got the beating of if he gets at him in the right situation, isolating him 1v1. But Leeds just haven't done that today in those wide areas and haven't had that kind of attacking prowess in this game.
And the cross, that little cross that you mentioned there from Smith Rowe was sort of with the top of his toes, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's unusual. It should have been with the outside of his right boot, but he almost like opened out his foot and hit it flat, didn't he, and scooped it. Whatever it was the perfect high angle weight, you name it. And another player who's in really good form for Arsenal in an attacking sense, which I'm sure Mikel Arteta will be really pleased with.
Yes, and then Aubameyang, far side of the 6-yard box, just dropped forward and headed it into the net. So Arsenal 4-0 up against Leeds United, might be on course for their biggest win of the season at this rate.
Well, producer George did say 5 put 5 out there at half time, so we'll see.
Yes, it was certainly mentioned. The biggest win that they've had at Arsenal so far this season is 4-0 at West Brom. I think I'm right in saying, that is their biggest win of the season so far. So they've got time to add. Leeds with Helder Costa, who is all over the back of Gabriel and concedes a free kick to Arsenal in their left back position. The Leeds team now, incidentally, Meslier, Shackleton, Ayling, Cooper and Alioski, then Struijk playing in place of the injured Calvin Phillips in midfield. But now they have Helder Costa on the right, Tyler Roberts, Stuart Dallas and Rafinha's moved across to the left, and then Patrick Bamford up front. And Leeds have had, they had a couple of chances early on in the game, a Bamford header shot by Harrison, but since then, since Arsenal scored a couple of goals before half-time, it's been all Arsenal.
Yeah, been very dominant display from Arsenal, in credit to them. I think they've created opportunities, they've looked defensively pretty sound, and I think the midfield's been interesting as well. Ceballos has won a lot of possession, Xhaka sat in front, and the attacking four really have interchanged and caused a lot of problems for Leeds.
4-0 Arsenal lead, 5 live on the World Service. Leeds coming forward though, deep cross into the 6-yard box, but far too close to goalkeeper Leno, who was able to make a comfortable catch. It was swung in there from Rafinha out on the left-hand side. And even though Leeds, of course, got bodies inside the box in these bottle green and black striped shirts, there's Bamford now on the edge of the area, but Gabriel comes across for Arsenal. However, Dallas has got it back. Dallas now, left-footed shot, that's blocked inside the penalty area. It bounces out for Odegaard. Martin Odegaard, who's making his first start for Arsenal. Ball out towards the right-hand side. Now here is Xhaka, and as the rain increases in intensity, those who are down in the front rows are just zipping up their coats and pulling on their hoods, as David Luiz is having another little wander forward to the edge of the area. Aubameyang tried to give it back to Smith Rowe, but Shackleton stepped across, and Leeds are already preparing their third substitution. So Niall Huggins is going to come on. He's a full-back, and he's going to make his debut, and he's going to take the place of Alioski. So Alioski will leave the field on the far side, and on comes Niall Huggins, who is a Yorkshireman, although he is a Welsh under-21 international, was born in York, part of the Leeds Academy, and having been an unused substitute several times this season, Niall Huggins, Leeds number 52, comes on and actually takes up a position in central midfield.
Is it Dallas? Dallas has drifted over to left back, as I think we know is very comfortable in that position, has played there a lot for Leeds.
Yeah.
And Huggins has gone into the middle of the park. But for me, that one, you mentioned earlier about Bielsa's mindset of these substitutions, that probably is one of where he's going to rest his left back and give him 45 minutes off the pitch and let a young player have an opportunity to play.
Yep, so Stuart Dallas goes back to left back, and the rain now is falling heavily and the players are absolutely saturated. 4-0 to Arsenal. Arsenal's players won't mind that one bit. Here's Bamford, little ball back into his own half, then a little tangle with Gabriel as well. Bamford and Gabriel just have a little look at one another from close quarters, with Arsenal in possession. David Luiz, whose hair is becoming increasingly plastered to his head, and then Saka tried to bring the ball through the middle. Dallas went with him, tugged him back. It's a free kick to Arsenal in the middle of the Leeds United half. Mikel Arteta looks as though he could do with a hooded coat. Mikel Arteta, he's got that sort of black woolen jacket on of his. Must be absolutely soaked. Free kick to Arsenal though. Good position in between the penalty area and the centre circle, and Marcelo Bielsa trying to get some message across there. The players are looking towards him, but it's a free kick that is going to be taken, as I say, 8 or 9 yards forward of the centre circle, which Xhaka chips in now towards the penalty spot. That's headed across and behind by Ayling. It's allowed to bounce out of play by hat-trick man Aubameyang, and it's a corner to Arsenal from the right that Saka will take. The rain is so heavy now here that it's almost like a mist around the stadium, falling straight down. Cold as well, cold wind. Saka waiting to take this. Arsenal are crowding the goalkeeper Meslier, who's had a poor afternoon, and referee Atwell just keeping an eye on things. There's the whistle. Saka to take this, raises his right arm, high delivery towards the back post, which Gabriel was trying to get to, but he was just impeded, and the ball bounces away out towards the right hand side, where Huggins gets his first touch, and that is to clear it out of play for a throw into Arsenal down the left hand side. Cedric Suarez picks the ball up. Smith Rowe makes a little run, and the thing is as well, Arsenal do look hungry here after the little run that they've been on. They felt hard done to. The fact that they lost both matches, as Helder Costa wins the ball back. It's played up towards Tyler Roberts, the Welsh international, and Roberts' ball towards Bamford bounces out of play via a deflection for a throw-in to Leeds United.
Well, Arsenal certainly don't have a feel about them of it's 4-0, we're just going to sit back and keep the ball and knock it around a little bit. They're definitely still looking for that next goal. As you mentioned, they're very hungry to want to show that they're a good attacking team and maintain that mentality, which I think is the one thing that Mikel Arteta has really been working hard on, to instill that in the players, that ruthless edge, and this is an opportunity to really up that goal tally and be even more ruthless.
Leeds with Roberts, but Roberts runs it out of play, and it's a throw into Arsenal. 15 yards inside their own half. Somebody, thankfully, has given Marcelo Bielsa a black woolly hat, and he's just sending out more orders. He's got his hand tightly clenched behind his back, hugging his body.
Still got that lean.
He's still got that lean.
Like he's dropped something on the floor and maybe looking for it.
He does not look comfortable.
No.
As Leeds played through the middle to Bamford. Bamford's touch to Rafinha on the left-hand side. Rafinha cutting in, left foot shot, but that hits David Luiz on the edge of the box, and the ball bounces away out towards the far side, dribbles over the white line for a corner to Leeds from the left.
Yeah, Rafinha popping up just inside the pitch. Ball came to him, a similar position to where he had his last shot that Leno tipped wide. They have to get him on the ball if they want to create something. You feel that Rafinha does have that quality at the moment.
Here's the corner then for Leeds, swung by Rafinha and headed in, and it's a goal back for Leeds United. Strauch got up powerfully at the near post, a firm header that flew into the back of the Arsenal net. No clean sheet for Arsenal today. Arsenal now leading Leeds by 4-1. Well,
that is a great header from Strauch. Brilliant run, really aggressive, attacks the ball, smashes David Luiz to the floor in the process. Great run. It's a great delivery from Rafinha with his left foot, but this is a superb header. Gives Leno no chance. He's on the run, which I think is the problem. Arsenal mark zonally, and it's Saka's job to try and block his run. He gets away from Saka, and once he's got 2 or 3 strides on David Luiz, he's always going to beat him in the air and just gets across the face of him. But really aggressive from the Leeds holding midfield player.
And that is a memorable way for Pascal Strauch, the 21-year-old, to score his first senior goal at the Emirates Stadium with a real power header from a corner.
good goal, wasn't it? A typical goal of just attacking the ball, attacking the cross, nice flighted ball in, got the run on Saka, and then David Luiz, in fairness to him, when you're from a standing position around that near post, if you've got a centre-back running at you and has the ability of that momentum to jump and attack the ball, it's very difficult to beat them in the air, and it certainly proved that way.
So it's Arsenal 4, Leeds United 1. Another 5 goals in a Leeds match, Matt. So what was it? It was 76 before today, so that's now 81 goals in the 24 Premier League matches that they've played this season.
The goal difference is now -3.
Yes, that's swung against them. Arsenal are going above Leeds in the table with this victory, unless the comeback is on. Willian is coming on for Arsenal, and Leeds certainly, 4 goals against them, mistakes. Bielsa's made his 3 changes already, and yet the Leeds still have the energy about them. But it's a throw into Arsenal on the far side. Rain still falling heavily here. And now Saka, who's been an important part of this Arsenal performance today, Bukayo Saka, and he's fouled by Struijk, and it's a free kick. Arsenal take it, not necessarily in the right place. Odegaard to the right-hand side to Bellerin. He's got on the score sheet today. So a hat-trick for Aubameyang and 1 goal for Bellerin. Pascal Struijk heading one back to make it 4-1 just a few moments ago. Some talk this week that Struijk, who has played for the Netherlands in the at under 17 at youth level, he was born in Belgium, that Roberto Martinez might be interested. Aubameyang into the penalty area, plays it to Odegaard. His shot from the angle is blocked, and then it's driven in by Cedric Suarez on his right foot, but pulled it wide of the post, and in any case there was an offside flag up. So we're going to see Willian now come onto the field. Willian, who definitely has not had a lockdown haircut. His hair seems longer than ever. And he's going to take the place of Emile Smith-Rowe, who walks off the field, of course, with his socks 3/4 of the way down his legs, slaps hands with Willian, and on he comes. The veteran, I suppose he is now, Matt, 32 years old, Willian.
Yeah, Willian, but that little passage of play from Aubameyang just before that substitution shows you the confidence. It was classic Aubameyang, faced up Ayling, dropped his shoulder, went past him, drove into the box. Really positive piece of attacking play from him, and then laid Smith-Rowe in, who's been excellent as well today. And I know Arteta's just taken him off, but I think it's just a case of come off, you've played well, come sit next to me, rest yourself, and let Willian do a little bit.
4-1 Arsenal lead, just on Smith-Rowe. Yeah, it's been quite an impact he's made, hasn't it, this season, when he's come into the team?
It has, and I think it's all about his energy. I mentioned he likes to pass the ball and follow it. He does that quite a lot when he's in that deeper role, but he's played a little bit higher today, a little bit wider, had to figure it out. I think early on in the game we didn't see him get too much of the ball, but as it's gone on, it's really proved an attacking threat, foraging into that corner of the 18-yard box, and just shows that he can play that position as well.
Odegaard turns to the edge of the area. Bellerin sets up Bellerin, rides one challenge. Bellerin then tries to turn it back, but turned it straight to Struijk, and the Leeds midfielder, as he is today, was able to set Leeds off, and the ball's deflected out for a throw-in to the visitors over on the far side.
Just opened up there, didn't it? The space was there for Bellerin. It was a horrible first touch, just has it too heavy, allows Dallas to come out and put the pressure on him, but Arsenal carving Leeds open again on that far side.
But yes, we talk about Smith-Rowe there, but Bukayo Saka has had another good day.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing him on the right-hand side, coming in onto his left. A couple of times he's come and picked the ball up very central, which has suited Aubameyang as well, because he's dropped deep at times, almost a little bit like Harry Kane type of position to receive the ball, and Saka then comes inside and receives it higher up. It's worked well for Arsenal today.
Costa does well against Xhaka, and then gives the ball out towards the left-hand side. It's played in by Rafinha back to Costa, but his touch was heavy, however. It's found its way back to Rafinha on the left-hand side. Rafinha now running at Bellerin, and the ball deflects off the Arsenal right-back for another Leeds corner. Well, they scored from the last one, from the left-hand side.
Yeah, let's see if they set up differently, Arsenal, whether or not Saka is going to be taking Struijk. Same type of zonal,
Here's the delivery from Rafinha. It's a little deeper, this one. Xhaka's underneath it for Arsenal to head it away unchallenged. It comes out to the debutant, Huggins, who plays the ball to his left, to Dallas, now back at left back. And then back it comes to Ayling, with his hair tied up in the manner of several Leeds United players. Rafinha on the left-hand side, flicks the ball across. Here's Struijk on his right foot, then lifts the ball into the area but beyond Rafinha, and it bounces through for a goal kick. I thought they might have been in there.
Yeah, just needed a bit of quality on the pass, and Struijk, not sure if that is his strongest point, that creative passing. I think he's good at handling the ball, but that type of pass really needed that attack in mind, that little bit of finesse just to take the pace off it, drop it over the top. It's been lacking in Leeds' play today.
We're into the last half hour now. Arsenal leading Leeds by 4-1, so another goal-packed match involving Leeds United. Unfortunately for them, 4 of them have been against them. The third Premier League game of the day. Already we've seen a win for Wolves at Southampton and a 1-1 draw between West Brom and Manchester United. And on 5 Live's Premier League Sunday, as Arsenal win well, Gabriel wanted a free kick, but he rather threw himself to the ground there against Bamford, and the assistant said, no, that's a throw-in. Yes, Everton-Fulham still to come from 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock kick-off at Goodison Park. So Vicky Sparks and Clinton Morrison will be getting themselves into their seats up in the stand. Leeds win the ball back. Rafinha with a shot across the face of goal and wide of the far post. That was an opening for Leeds not taken.
Yeah, dragged it, Rafinha, really annoyed with himself. It was a nice position, just arriving into the penalty spot, into the penalty box, sorry, on the right, on the left-hand side. He drags it across. David Luiz is in front of him, but Bielsa slaps his thighs with his hands, frustrated with the quality of the finish. It was a good situation, as you mentioned, and he probably should have hit the target.
A little bit of complacency from Arsenal at the moment?
Possibly not quite the same intensity, is there, as what they've been winning the ball back in midfield and really dominated that midfield in the first half. Leeds are just creeping back into it a little bit.
Just wonder, maybe subliminally, you know, you and I have said the same thing about the Leeds substitutions. You know, the feeling being that, you know, maybe Bielsa thinks, well, this game's gone, I'm going to make a change. You know, maybe that has an effect. As the ball's played forward, Costa comes off in low and bounces straight through for a goal kick to Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Alioski substitution may have had that element about it, but I have a feeling that the ones at half-time were a half-time dressing down of this not good enough and I'm making changes. And, you know, I'm sure Bielsa will be coming out in this second half, or did come out in this second half, and really believe that his team could get back in it. Of course he did. That's the mentality that he manages out. That's the mentality that he puts into his players, and you see that in their performance, Leeds. You know, they're not giving up. They're still going at it as hard as they can.
Well, producer George, who did first air the prospect of Arsenal scoring 5 goals, with that Leeds goal that they've got back, as David Luiz volleys away from the edge of his own penalty area, points out that the last team to lose a 4-0 lead in the Premier League was Arsenal.
Against?
Newcastle.
That's right, at St James's,
yes, at St James's Park.
That's right, yeah.
Yes, I was at a wedding that afternoon.
Who was the midfielder that scored?
I thought you were going to say, whose wedding was it?
No.
It was Cheick Tiote, wasn't it?
Tiote winner, wouldn't it? I remember, yeah.
4-4.
That's right.
Yes. Here is Ayling, who plays the ball back across to Cooper. Cooper over the halfway line. Arsenal leading 4-1, but Leeds having more of the ball and more of the match than they have at any time. Ball's played down the left-hand side. Tyler Roberts is there, pulls it back across, and Costa scores! It's a second goal for Leeds United. Costa arriving perfectly. Roberts laid it into his path, and it was in the net in a flash, and it's Arsenal 4, Leeds 2 now.
Wow. This is starting to get a little bit edgy for Mikel Arteta. He's pacing around his technical area. Leeds really do open it up on the Arsenal right-hand side. It's a lovely ball in behind Bellerin, who's completely ball-watching, has no clue where Rafinha's gone. Cuts it back, and there it is. Just a simple side-foot finish around the penalty, well, just outside the 6-yard box where the finish came from. And it's a really well-worked goal from Leeds, and Arsenal completely asleep on that right-hand side.
Arsenal 4, Leeds United 2. I told you it wasn't over.
It's famous, isn't it? You know, the feel about it, you think, no, it can't happen. Then all of a sudden...
Can't happen, Matt. Can't happen.
We should know by now. You never know what's happening with this Leeds team.
Second best defensive record in the Premier League, or at least it was before this Leeds comeback started. Here's Helder Costa, just scored. Leeds' second goal. Gives it to Shackleton. Then the cross from Huggins, but that's too close to goalkeeper Leno, who's able to catch it. Arsenal could be forgiven for thinking they were coasting towards a handsome victory when they were 4-0 up, but those 2 goals from Leeds have rather altered the complexion of the match.
It was a lovely pass. I didn't see who made the pass, actually. The move was from Rafinha out wide, and he ran in behind Bellerin.
Taylor Roberts.
Is it Roberts? Found a lovely pass in behind Bellerin, really exposed him. And Rafinha once again got his head up, produced the assist and the cross into the 18-yard box, and he really has been a good threat, Rafinha. They haven't had him in the game anywhere near as much as what they should have done in the first half, and he's definitely got a grip of it in this second half.
Booking for Struijk. That's the first yellow of the match, isn't it? Struijk, who was just quite... I think he was on... Was it just a little tug?
It was handball.
No, it was handball.
I think he's just put it, and he's put his arm out, and he's just blocked the ball with the upper part of his arm from skipping past. 20
minutes to play. 4-2 to Arsenal, and all of a sudden we've got a contest on our hands. One more goal now for Leeds.
Wow.
And everything's different, and they have been involved in a couple of 4-3s this season, as we mentioned in the first half, as Bellerin dived in there, the ball bounced away. He was perhaps fortunate that he didn't make contact with Bamford, although Bamford did well from there actually and skipped out of the way of it.
There just seems to be a lot of space in and around the middle of the pitch at the moment. The back four, Arsenal back four, are dropping off very deep. Bamford's able to drop short and get hold of the ball and turn, and
ball played up towards Costa, but Leno is able to make a leap forward out of the 6-yard box and catch it.
And they've just lost that edge to get after the Leeds players, that intensity that they were playing with. They've really stepped off it, Arsenal. If they're not careful, they're going to find themselves in trouble again.
A Leeds player is down, so we've got a stoppage in play. But, I mean, just how typical is it, this, of Leeds? That they're 4-0 down, made the changes, Bielsa, but, you know, they simply have not given up. They've just kept going for it, and they've been rewarded with a couple of goals. Rafinha, so he's made the 3 changes. Rafinha, I think he's okay. Yeah, he's back on his feet, and he's going to be able to continue. But that's the risk you take, I suppose. If you make all of your changes with time left in the game, it's a gamble in itself.
Well, he is that type of manager, isn't he? He won't think twice. He'll trust his gut and feel, okay, we'll go for it. And I make him right. They had little opportunity, John, didn't they? Coming out at half-time, he had to do something and change it, and he's done that, and certainly got a response out of the players.
Willian, deep inside his own half, turns it across the penalty area. Back towards goalkeeper Leno, who clears it high towards the halfway line. It's headed down. Leeds have got it back against Struijk. Oh, he was caught in possession there by Saka. And now Aubameyang, hat-trick man Aubameyang, not been in the game since he scored his 3rd goal. Ball out to the right-hand side to Bellerin. Bellerin then drives it across. Saka stretches, but it's just cut out at the near post in front of him by the Leeds captain Cooper, and behind for an Arsenal corner.
That's an important interception from Cooper. Nice play from Arsenal. Move it wide. Bellerin's on the overlap. He's got a little bit of space, and Cooper just holds his position, checks his shoulder, puts himself just in the right position to stop Saka getting on the end of the cross.
The team news is in at Goodison Park, so we'll be going there very shortly. But Arsenal have got this corner. 4-2 Arsenal lead. It's going to be taken by Willian, who's just trotted down the run-off of the pitch over there. Got the ball now, puts it on the quadrant, referee whistling away. Here it is. Willian takes it into the near post. That's headed away by Rafinha, headed further away by Huggins. And Arsenal have got it with Leno, who launches one downfield. This is for Aubameyang to chase. Meslier comes, then stops. Ayling takes it down out towards the corner flag, and he's fouled by Aubameyang. So that's a free kick to Leeds, and that is the perfect opportunity, Vicky Sparks, to bring you in from Goodison.
And we'll start with Fulham, because there is no Alexander Mitrovic in the squad. He has tested positive for COVID, so he is not involved today. Josh Maja makes his full debut for the Premier League strugglers, one of two changes from their goalless Premier League draw with West Ham. Ola Aina also coming in, with Robinson and Cavallero dropping to the bench. 4 changes for Everton from that FA Cup thriller with Tottenham. James Rodriguez and Andre Gomez return after niggles, with Holgate and Coleman also coming in. Algo Calvert-Lewin is injured, Keane, Mina and Iwobi all on the bench, those 3, along with Alan, who is back from injury.
Thank you, Vicky. We'll be listening to Vicky and Clinton Morrison on the way from the Emirates later. 7 o'clock kickoff. You'll hear it in full here on 5 Live. And indeed, more Premier League commentaries tomorrow night. But here comes Bamford for Leeds into the penalty area. Goes between 2 defenders and goes down. And referee Atwell says no penalty. The ball picked up by Leno. He went down as the challenges came in from either side of him, but Stuart Atwell presumably deciding the ball had gone from Bamford by the time he went down.
I just think he felt that Cedric had the line on him. He wasn't coming from behind, and he just got across, and it was a collision, and Cedric was in a good position. But Leeds really got the bit between their teeth in this game now. Some really nice passing. It's a lovely ball into the front to create that chance, and they're looking a good bet at the moment.
The ball's opened up for Aubameyang, who shoots against the top of the post. Oh, the width of the post away from a 4th goal for him and a 5th for Arsenal. The goal's almost still shaking. Comes back again though for Odegaard to hit the shot from outside the penalty area, and that's taken a deflection, and so it is a corner for Arsenal.
Yeah, just having a look at that penalty shout again. He just got crowded out, Bamford, as he got rolled through. Cedric was there, Gabriel was there. He tried to run between the two, and wasn't a penalty.
Corner to Arsenal from the left-hand side then. Aubameyang, his shot hitting the post. Make a note of that. Willian takes the corner in, too close to Meslier, who's able to catch it. If you weren't listening in the first half, Ilan Meslier had a very poor first half, in that got a hand to the first goal. Aubameyang's shot, couldn't keep it out. The second goal, rather caught in possession by Saka, Meslier, and he conceded the penalty. Aubameyang scored that, and for Bellerin's goal, which made it 3-0, it was straight through Meslier at his near post.
I'm not sure he'd have got anywhere near that effort from Aubameyang just then either. That was some strike, wasn't it, that rattled the crossbar.
I think what added to it, Matt, was the fact it's been so wet here this afternoon. When it struck the frame of the goal, all of the water was shaken off the frame of the goal. It was almost like a sort of cartoon vibration action. Arsenal leading Leeds by 4 goals to 2, and it has lived up to our billing as being potentially entertaining. It's been very entertaining, and it's still a contest, which certainly didn't seem to be the case when Arsenal were 4-0 up in the 58th minute. But those Leeds goals, Strout and Costa in the 58th and the 69th, mean that we have still got a match on our hands here, and the change will see Martin Odegaard replaced by Mohamed El Neni. So a forward player replaced by a holding midfielder.
Yeah, it's a clear piece of intent from Arteta. Odegaard, it's hard to kind of sum up what I've made of his performance. He's shown some nice touches, but I'm not sure if his influence on key moments of the game has been particularly high, and I think that's something that perhaps he hasn't done as well in his career to date. But he certainly showed that he's got some nice touches, a nice way about how he plays, good vision.
Arsenal pouring forward, Bellerin carrying the ball, then giving it to Saka inside the penalty area. The challenge comes in on him though from Cooper. Leeds should clear through Dallas. Not yet, they haven't though. Saka has got it back, but it runs away from him, and Rafinha is able to clear it up towards Bamford, and Arsenal have got the ball back again in the central third. We've got 12 minutes to play. Arsenal 4, Leeds United 2. Correction, by the way, Aubameyang's hat-trick goal was the 47th minute, so they were 4-0 up in the 47th minute, but 4-2 it is. And still we have the prospect of another Leeds goal would give us an exciting finale. So the ball at the back with Leeds. As I say, more Premier League commentaries tomorrow night on 5 Live. 2 of them, West Ham against Sheffield United and Chelsea against Newcastle. Both of them, West Ham and Sheffield United, the home teams, have the chance to go above Liverpool in the Premier League table. So join us for that on 5 Live tomorrow. Here's Aubameyang, flicks the ball back. Ceballos carries it out towards the left-hand side. Cedric Suarez is there. You noticed Cedric Suarez told Bamford what he thought of him when Bamford went down in the Arsenal box. And now Xhaka is bundled over, and it's a free kick to Arsenal here on the left-hand side. We'll try and bring you the interviews before the Everton-Fulham game begins at 7 o'clock, so live interviews to come on 5 Live Sport. Normally, the routine is that we get to speak to one of the Leeds United players, with Marcelo Bielsa still communicating through his translator. It doesn't often make the best radio, that. Here is Xhaka putting his foot on the ball and then playing it back to Gabriel. Still a great pace about the game, Matt Upson.
Hasn't stopped, has it? It's been relentless. You have to say that. Credit to both teams. It's been a really hard-fought game. Lots of pressing, lots of scrapping for loose balls, some good quality too. Been thoroughly enjoyable so far.
Ball is with Leno, who clears it up towards the halfway line. Yes, the action is as relentless as that wind that's whistling around the Emirates Stadium.
You've not got your hood up, John.
Good point. Yeah, put
another
that down
layer of protection.
Yes, I'm going to do that now.
There you go.
Yes, we've got it in position. There we go. Shackleton gives the ball out toward. I look a little bit like Shackleton. Ball on the left-hand side, then played back in field towards Cooper, who puts his foot on it, just knocks it ahead of himself, and then gives it out towards the left-hand side. And then back it comes towards Cooper. Maybe they're just setting themselves for another attempt on the summit, a la Shackleton. Now down goes Ayling, who's bundled over as he took the ball down the right wing, and it's a free kick to Leeds here on the right-hand side. Set piece opportunity.
Yeah, I mean,
10 minutes to go.
You have a feeling that Luke Ayling really wanted to win that set piece. He drew the contact from Aubameyang and gladly went down when the contact came, and it does provide Leeds another opportunity to test Arsenal from a wide position, put a ball into their box and see how they deal with it.
Right, this is going to be taken by Rafinha. Big moment in the game. Rafinha swings it in too close to Leno. It was, metaphorically speaking, right down his throat, and he was able to make an easy catch under no pressure. Disappointment for Leeds.
It's interesting they hit a left-footed in-swinger from that deep. You know, I get it if you're closer to the goal line and you can put more angle on it, but there was so much drift on that ball, and it's always in-swinging towards the goalkeeper. It's just a far harder ball to defend from that position as a centre-back when it's a right footer and it's getting aimed in that gully between you and the goalkeeper. It just causes indecision.
Tyler Roberts did well there. David Luiz was in possession in his right back area, and Tyler Roberts raced across, closed him down, blocked the ball out. David Luiz then throwing his arms in the air in frustration. The ball bounces out of play for a throw-in, another throw-in to Arsenal on the far side. So what have Leeds done now? There's been a complete change, hasn't there, in terms of who's playing where, because Costa's now gone across to the left.
They've switched sides with Rafinha,
and Huggins has now come to right back. Matt, work this out, Matt. I mean, this is classic Leeds, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just Huggins.
Leeds coming forward now. Ball into the area to Saka. Saka shoots, hits the post. It bounces out across the area. The whistle's gone. I think, has that been given as a penalty?
No, it's a free kick.
It's a free kick for a foul
by Cedric
Rafinha. And indeed, I think the offside flag might have been up as well.
Yeah.
For the on the far side. So it's Leeds ball. Still Arsenal 4, Leeds United 2. But into the closing stages here.
Back to your point, I mean, I sometimes it's hard to tell, you know, when you step back. It's only when you have a stop in play like this you can actually assess Leeds' positions, and you look at it. and like I say, Huggins had gone all the way with Willian across to the other side of the pitch and left the right back slot for Leeds completely exposed, and he's now out on this right hand side with Ayling and Cooper still centre backs, Dallas at left back. You've got Strauch in that holding midfield role, and Tyler Roberts and Shackleton are just far higher up the pitch.
Yeah, that is a multiple change of positions for the Leeds players out there.
Yeah.
Latest scores, by the way, in League One: Lincoln 0, Accrington 1. That was a 6 o'clock kickoff. Dion Charles with that one. And the Oxford-Wigan game has obviously resumed. If you were listening earlier, slightly worryingly, the match was suspended because of a fire in the floodlight pylon at Oxford, but clearly everything's okay. Game's back underway, and Wigan are leading by a 1-0. Callum Lang has scored that one. Leeds coming forward in the last 10 minutes here at the Emirates Stadium. The rain eases slightly. Here's Tyler Roberts outside the box. He's already created one goal, Tyler Roberts. Then the ball back towards Shackleton on the left-hand side. Shackleton plays it to Strauch. Arsenal have parked everyone behind the ball now, rather worried about what Leeds might be capable of. Costos with the ball in from the left-hand side. That's headed away by David Luiz. Comes out to Strauch. Little touch back from him, and then it's chipped out to the right-hand side. He has Huggins. Huggins slips it through. Ayling pulls it across. Oh, a chance on the edge of the 6-yard box. An important clearance. Bamford was sliding in, but I think it was David Luiz who got it away.
Oh, that was important.
I think Gabriel clears.
I really felt there was going to be a Leeds player on the end of that cross. It was brilliantly worked with between Ayling and Huggins, I think it was. It's the advantage of having someone like Ayling playing centre-back, and then he's gone on an overlap, and he's so comfortable having played in that right-back position to get wide and get the cross in, and David Luiz did very well to get to the ball first. Bamford just couldn't get across the face of him.
Yeah, well played, David Luiz. And then Ceballos surely brought down Strauch there. No free kick. Arsenal continue. Aubameyang, hat-trick Aubameyang. Flicks the ball forward towards Saka. Now Bellerin on the right-hand side. Bellerin's cross. Strauch's there near the penalty spot to clear it away, left-footed. 6 minutes to go. Arsenal leading by 4-2. And a throw-in over on the far side. And Arsenal level with the edge of the Leeds penalty area. Throwing is taken, it bounces up, chested down by Saka, who's backing into it's taken on by Bellerin. The ball cut across, comes off Cooper, deflected to the edge of the area. Willian was there, and then Leeds are able to take possession. Rafinha stretches for it, but it's taken back by Cedric Suarez, who's going to shoot right-footed, and Meslier had to make the save. That was on target. He was heading for the top corner, and Meslier was able to push it away.
Well, for a moment there I thought Meslier had been done by the swerve of the ball. He was moving so far to his right-hand side that when Cedric hit it, it kind of just sweeped out to the left, and he had to adjust his body. Got a solid pair of hands on the ball, I think, and just parried it away.
Just thinking now, you know, Aubameyang's hit the post, Saka hit the post as well. That chance there for Cedric Suarez.
The penalty shout.
Yes.
They've created a lot, haven't they, Arsenal? You have to say that. They really have asked the question of Leeds today defensively, and created a lot of opportunities.
There's been a lot in this game, hasn't there?
Yeah.
An awful lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Hat-trick for Aubameyang, which incidentally is the 8th hat-trick that's been scored in the Premier League this season. And Arsenal are sending Rob Holding down now, so that will be the final Arsenal change. Rob Holding coming on. Gabriel chasing after it. Bamford too close. Bamford got the contact, brought him down. Free kick.
I've seen that all afternoon. It's driving me crazy the way that the attacking players of Leeds, they're so keen to get to the ball, but when the Arsenal players in front of them, Gabriel's drawn about 4 fouls in that situation, and if Bamford just steps up, then Gabriel's actually got to do something with the ball. He's running back towards his own goal line in a bad position. He just gets him off the hook. If he pushes too hard and trips him or fouls him, he just lets the defender off the hook. He's got to put the brakes on and almost step back a little bit.
It's Matt Upson with us on 5 Live and the World Service, former Arsenal and England central defender. And that final change, we'll see Ceballos coming off, who on his return to the team in the absence of the injured Thomas Partey certainly put himself about. Ceballos,
yeah, it's like almost like a new way of him playing for Arteta. You almost feel he's trying to turn into that midfielder who's going to win the ball back well, because I think he realised that there's a slot available in the team to do that, and he looks to be getting encouraged by Arteta to really add that to his game.
And against this ever-changing, tactically, Leeds United team, Mikel Arteta has put Holding in as one of now 3 central defenders alongside David Luiz and Gabriel for the final minutes of the match.
And it says a lot about the game, doesn't it, that his last 2 substitutions, Arteta, have been El Neni as a holding midfield player, defensive, to sit in front, and another centre-back. It just shows you the swing in which this game has taken in this second half.
Arsenal defending again, ball for Rafinha, who's racing after it, but on this wet surface the ball just skids away and through for a goal kick to Arsenal. And we're in the 89th minute now. I think they're not going to have enough time, Leeds, but they've certainly given Arsenal a fright.
Well, there are some games, John, that at half-time, at the scoreline that we had, you'd be thinking, oh, going to have to dig deep into the stat book to see the half out, but it really hasn't been that, has it? It's been a really enjoyable, interesting account that Leeds have given.
It is. Goal kick then to Arsenal, and again this is an indicator in that Leno is in no hurry at all. Eventually takes it. Aubameyang trying to head this on. Shout from Aubameyang, he was just caught there as Ayling came down, just caught him. I think he stood on his foot. Aubameyang has stayed down. Aubameyang will certainly be a contender for the Man of the Match award. 4 minutes of added time then. We're into 4 minutes of added time. Time enough to score 2 goals, man.
Yeah, there is, and Leeds are on the charge.
Shackleton on the right-hand side. He's got options either side of him. Uses Rafinha. Rafinha curls it in towards the back post. That's headed away by Bellerin. Comes out to Struijk. Tried to take it down on the top of his left knee. Bounced away from him. The green and black shirts of Leeds still have the ball low.
Aubameyang still laying on the ground, and eventually
they've put it out of play.
Yeah, I mean, Arteta was shouting furiously at the players to put the ball out, which they don't have any real obligation to do, but sportingly Leeds have now put it out.
Where's Marcelo Bielsa going? He's walking across the coaching area all the way over to Mikel Arteta.
Yeah.
And he's put his hand on his arm, and Mikel Arteta is pointing at Aubameyang, who's lying receiving treatment. And Mikel Arteta speaks quite animatedly to Marcelo Bielsa, who almost looked there as he was using Mikel Arteta to stay on his feet, and then he totters back to his position.
It's like he went over and put a hand on him and went, calm down. There's nothing to get animated about. And Mikel Arteta was saying, no, my player's laying on the floor, and he just wanted to say, look,
he's coming back again. He's coming again.
Yeah.
Marcelo Bielsa, no, he's just coming to speak to Rafinha.
That was a classic rake down the Achilles, though, for Aubameyang. It's accidental, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Ayling just landed on the back of his heel when they both jumped up for a header and caught him with his studs.
Man of the match, I presume, and he scored a hat-trick.
Has to be, doesn't he? I mean, he's played the game back in that Aubameyang way that we know. We know that he can approach the game and make something happen, and not just his goals. I think he's been really creative. He's wanted to get on the ball, body language, energy. He's the man of the match for me.
So 4-2 Arsenal lead. We've got Everton Fulham to come. You can talk about all the football with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton on 606, the 5 Live phone in. After 9 o'clock tonight. Ball played through to Shackleton inside the area, couldn't take it on. Gabriel was able to get the block on that, and Arsenal escaped there, but Shackleton with the opportunity.
Very lucky Arsenal, really good ball. Shackleton, great run, just doesn't take the ball in his stride. It's flying through the air and he just can't control it.
Leeds come again. They've still not given this up. No siree. Back with Cooper to Ayling onto his right foot. Has a little look, still going, plays the ball to Dallas on the right now. Dallas has played in about 5 different positions in this game alone, and then the ball bounces off Shackleton and out of play for a throw to Arsenal. And yes, the highlights tonight, match of the day 2, Mark Chapman with Ian Wright and Leon Osman, 10:30, and a throw into Arsenal. We've had 3 minutes of the 4 of added time. Arsenal heading for what will be their first win in 4 matches, and they will go back into the top half of the Premier League table. They'll be within 2 points of Tottenham incidentally, with this victory. Arsenal. Cedric Suarez takes the throw. Willian heads it on. Then it's volleyed forward. Here's Bamford on the right-hand side. Hasn't been able to get on the score sheet so far. Now Rafinha's able to take it on. Rafinha running it. Luiz into the penalty area. Curls it across. Bamford's after it. Blocked away though. Gabriel got a touch on it. Still Leeds press. Shackleton and Rafinha on the right-hand side. Ayling makes a run into the box. Rafinha's got Willian in front of him. And Willian gets the foot in and it bounces back towards the halfway line. 4-2 down. Leeds in no way have given this up. And Struijk returns it to Cooper. The 4 minutes have almost been played, but great credit to Leeds. 4-0 down they were in the 47th minute, and from that point on Leeds have pressed and pressed, scored a couple of goals. Admittedly Arsenal could have had at least one or two back at the other end, but now here's Rafinha on the right hand side. 4 minutes are over. Rafinha plays it across. It bounces off Cedric Suarez behind. It's a corner to Leeds. Still we play.
Well, Rafinha opting to go with his right foot. He's so used to chopping back onto his left on this right-hand side that he goes to the byline and tries to find a cross in, and now he's got a corner to deliver, an in-swinging corner with his left foot.
Might be the last action. Don't think it's going to be enough now at this stage of the afternoon. Rafinha plays it in. Leno gets a hand to it to push it away out of the penalty area. Roberts turns it back to Shackleton. Shackleton's dispossessed. Arsenal break away. Aubameyang runs away. Oh, he was caught by Dallas. And the yellow card comes out for Dallas after he tripped Aubameyang, who was breaking forward. Still inside his own half. Yellow card, Stuart Dallas.
Well, just as he's got back on his feet from the first collision, he just has far too much pace for Dallas here. It's the perfect counter-attack opportunity. He just toes the ball away as Dallas goes to ground, and the follow-through really catches the outside of Aubameyang's right boot. He's back on his feet and walking off okay, but he's been in the walls this last 5-10 minutes.
Free kick then for Arsenal. I think this will be it. Marcelo Bielsa drops to his haunches again. Don't think I've seen him on the bucket today. Perfect afternoon for a bucket.
He's not brought it with him.
No. That was an oversight. On a wet afternoon in North London. But what an entertaining afternoon it's been. There's the final whistle. Arsenal winners by 4-2. They led 4-0 at one stage, but Leeds, spirited as ever, made it a really watchable contest all the way. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang returning to the team and returning to form, and he's the headline man with his hat-trick, Matt Upson.
Yeah, right on cue. Aubameyang, exactly the tonic that Arsenal needed at the moment. A really convincing attacking performance, you have to say, not just the 4 goals, but as you mentioned earlier, numerous occasions to score. The woodwork rattled, a penalty shout that could have gone either way, and really caused havoc on Leeds in that first half especially. But it's just that little defensive wobble they've had in the second half. They had a momentary, probably 10-15 minute period, Arsenal, where they just switched off and the tempo dropped down. That will be what Mikel Arteta will be focusing on and working on with the players, maintaining those levels all the game. And Leeds, as spirited as ever, you know, took every opportunity they could to get back in the game, and all credit to them.
Yeah, Ilan Meslier, the Leeds goalkeeper, had a poor first half. He'll feel that really he could have prevented all 3 goals that were scored by Arsenal in the first 45 minutes. Hector Bellerin scored the third of them. Struijk and Costa, Leeds goal scorers in the second half as they came back, but not enough as Arsenal win it 5 consecutive. I beg your pardon. That is now for Arsenal their first win in 4 matches, and Arsenal go above Leeds in the Premier League table as the players leave the field here with a scoreline of Arsenal 4, Leeds United 2.